Let's talk about the state of Mario Kart World Online. It is 34 degrees Celsius in my room right now. So for all of you Americans, that's what? Around the 95 Fahrenheit mark? I think it's around the 100. I'm sitting in a sauna right now, so I'm going to allow myself to yap whilst playing some online and talk about the hot topic that seems to be very... there's a lot of debate, a lot of controversial opinions on what people seem to have on what has happened in the last few weeks of Mario Kart World. So, the very first day, many people, of course, were playing the game for the first time experiencing Mario Kart World. We have these traversal races of what I call them, and they're the longer races, and they aren't your traditional regular 3-lap races. It's something new that Mario Kart and Nintendo has introduced. And, you know, I, like myself and many others, quite enjoy these. But for a lot of people, it became quite old. So, racing online, they wanted to be more traditional. And as many players do in games, they found a loophole. And said loophole was where you selected random for every online race. You would be 100% guaranteed to get a regular 3-lap race. Now, clearly, this wasn't intentional. This was a mistake. And you can't fault Nintendo for fixing it. You know, if something's not meant to be in the game and it was accidentally coded or, you know, it's just an error, and they fixed it, then yeah, that's what any game company would do. However, it is how drastic they went in the direction of where they updated and reverted this loophole. And this was not received well. So they got rid of the ability to, when you selected random online, that you would get the 100% guarantee of a regular 3-lap race, and they swapped it for pretty much a 100% guarantee for the traversal races, which I'm not sure if people found as a slap in the face, but it certainly was not well received. So many people, especially here on YouTube, voiced their opinions, and you know, rightly so. Everyone's entitled to their own opinion. And, was it not well received in any given state? Yeah, Nintendo, seemingly this didn't hold up for, you know, quite some time. And luckily, they seem to have somewhat reverted it to a more fairer chance. I wouldn't call it 50-50 at the moment, but it seems to be, you know, a more even swing to get one or the other type of race. So many people are still unhappy with this change, of course, and there's a lot of divide in opinions. And the definition of random, anyone can search up. There is one thing I'll say, and the ambiguity between Nintendo and the online player base with how you define the term random is very split, you know, and I get that people prefer the regular 3-lap races. It's traditional. It's what Mario Kart has been built on. Change is scary, and, you know, these traversal races are new, and, you know, rightly so, many people do find them boring, but it's hard. It's really difficult to say who's right and who's wrong. But in this case, no one is wrong, believe it or not. And I think this for a few reasons. And the first one would be that we all have to agree that there is most likely, and what I would say definitely, more casual players than there are, you know, competitive players and pro players in this game. It's a kids' party game after all. It always has been and it always will. So Nintendo are going to cater towards both player bases as much as they can, but, you know, considering this game is new and the developers have put so much time and effort into these traversal races, look at it from the developers' side who made the game. They're not going to abandon that just because, you know, there are a lot of people and prevalent people online who are, you know, voicing their opinion and saying they don't really like them. However, I believe that there is quite the easy fix for this, and I think a lot of you will agree with this and attest that this is probably the best and maybe only direction Nintendo can go with this. And that is where Nintendo should introduce and make a mode option for online. So this is where simply there would be what, it can be called anything under the moon, but a classic mode, a world mode, and perhaps I don't know, a random mode, as ironic as it sounds. And pretty much classic mode would be where you select online, you will only get the regular 3-lap races. Pretty self-explanatory. In the world mode, you will only get the traversal races, and in the random mode, you can get one or the other. Pretty much, that's, quite simple to understand. And I think Nintendo, if they were to introduce that in the selection point of when you are online, I think a lot of people will go, oh, okay, yeah, I can take this. I can choose to enjoy either one at any given point. I can have it on random, or I can only choose one or the other. And I think this is where Nintendo really need to think, okay, people have voiced their opinions. The traversal races, whilst they are long and there are a lot of straight lines and there are certain ways of guaranteeing you to win on the tracks, I think there are more people who would lean on the side of, okay, well, I also want to race the new tracks you made, but I'm not getting them. And when you are giving us the traversal races, we're only getting a very quick lap of them at the end, and most of the time they are either reversed or they are backwards, and it goes by very quickly. And I can understand why a lot of people aren't a massive fan of either one, but I think a lot of us can agree that there should be an option between the two. I think this is the best way Nintendo can fix this. And I think as I yap in this heat, and I hope I'm not repeating myself, I think just thinking about that and having the option to choose between one or the other whilst going into the online mode makes the most sense. Right? Right. And I guess you could also say that if Nintendo aren't going to give you, a fair shot, there's a 1 in 3 chance of being given a selection of a regular 3-lap race, is maybe on this screen there, Nintendo could give more of a chance where, instead of 3 options and a random, there's 4 options, and there will always be a 50-50 chance at getting 2 regular tracks for 3 laps, or 2 traversal races, which are longer. And then the random option then isn't used, to get one or the other. It's simply just to change the track selection because you don't like the 4 tracks, or you just want to play a different track. That to me also makes more sense, as then people online, this screen here, it's just luck. There's no telling what you're going to get from the people who choose, which I do like that it is anonymous as well, so people don't get annoyed at who picks what. But then you will see an actual 50-50 split on your screen of what to choose, and then it just comes down to what the other players choose in your lobby, and then finally what the random selection is of what you land on and what you get to race. So, there's ways to think about it, because I do understand from many people's perspective that doing what we're doing now, it had its fun since day one, in the first few weeks here, but it gets old. But then you got to think, many people weren't, that lucky to be in a position to get a Switch 2 from Nintendo straight away and play the game since day one, and people will get the game at different times. And of course, many people will get their first ever Nintendo Switch 2 and Mario Kart World at Christmas this year, which is 6 months late, or 6 months and 20 to 30 days. So yeah, 6 and so months later down the line. And that is a fair, couple of days in between a lot of us who are very privileged and lucky to play this game on the very first day, to those who will get the game at a later date. And, there will be people who want to play these new races and try out all the modes. And speaking of modes, someone I saw online left a comment, and it really did pique my thought. And I gave a lot of thought on this, and I'm glad I remembered it to talk about here. Is that, okay, fine, Nintendo developers, Mario Kart World developers, you have made incredible tracks, and you want to show them off. Clearly. You have made a very good mode called Knockout. It has the intense nature to it of getting through the checkpoints at the moments, to pass and, experience these huge tracks. And that makes complete sense. I think that's a really fun way to introduce these tracks, and people can select that mode and people can have their fun going through these tracks and playing a really, really fun game mode in knockout mode and having that intense nature, you know, when playing it. Online is a different kettle of fish. I think we can all agree. I think people much prefer wanting to play in a way where it's like, okay, many people will want to, okay, good result. Many people look at the regular 3-lap races as that's where the competition is. That's where the skill ceiling is raised. We don't always want to sit back and chill in these traversal races. We're not casual players anymore. We've had our time with it. Like the players who will get the game much later on, whether it's this Christmas or beyond, everyone will get to a point where they want to be more competitive in the game. Because when it comes to Mario Kart in general, people want to challenge themselves. And with these regular 3-lap races, which is the absolute heart of Mario Kart, it is traditional, it is classic, it has been that way since the dawn of time, that people are used to the quicker races. They are used to having these quicker races require, you know, more skill and more knowledge and more memorizing in the shortcuts, perfecting their reaction time and their racing lines, and also understanding the item cycling and the usage of said items as well. And of course, the overall race IQ during the races. Not everyone who plays the game wants to relax through their races. They really want to, you know, feel like they're really going for it, and that is what a race is. You know, not everyone wants to have a marathon. People want to have a sprint. And you know, when saying that, so I guess you could say passionately, is there will be people on the complete opposite side, and they're like, well, no, I don't want to be competitive and serious every time I play the game. I want to chill from time to time and have a nice time. You know, I don't always want to play 3-lap races and have it go by so quickly. I want to play these longer races, like here. You can see on the mini map, and with 8, I guess you can call them checkpoints, but 8 finish lines or so to go throughout the race. And there will always be a divide. And now that divide, in my opinion, will always be unknown. We'll never know the true split between who prefers what in Mario Kart World, as the player base will always change as time goes on. People will leave the game. A lot of people won't find the game to play it every day. I think a lot of us are privileged to play it as much as we do. But I just feel like, whilst I understand where a lot of people are coming from with how Nintendo handled the situation, which I do agree, they definitely went aggressive on the other side of the update, is there are better ways that Nintendo can go about this, and I just feel like there's better ways that I mentioned with the whole introducing those 3 modes with the classic, world and random, or giving an actual 50-50 split of 4 options of 2 traversal races and 2 regular 3-lap races, and then an actual random which will serve its purpose to randomize the track selection, not the race selection. And then I think the entire player base of Mario Kart will stop, you know, feeling so strongly about change. As like I said, change is scary for some, and I would say for most in this sense, as you can see the response online. Though, for myself, I think a lot of people are going to be like, well, you know, maybe I would have noticed a difference, maybe I wouldn't have. I enjoy both. I don't really have a preference between one or the other. The game is still not even a month old, and I'm having an absolute blast playing everything, because I haven't even played, I'm pretty sure, every single track online, let alone every single traversal track. I mean, I've played a lot of free roam, but I have definitely not played every single path that there has been made in the game between one track and the other. So there is still so much to explore in this game, and I get that the people who are very fortunate to play this game most of their living hours of the day will get sick of the game because they've seen a lot of it. But this is where I can, you know, quite easily understand and see that a lot of people just won't, you know, see as much as the game as everyone else does, who are, you know, voicing their well, you know, thought out complaints that they are entitled to. So I just feel like at the end of the day, whilst many people can have their preferences, which is completely fine, I just think there are always going to be new people in the game, and, you know, doesn't matter if you prefer one type of race or the other. It's going to be what it is for Nintendo, and they will know that so many people over the next few months are going to buy the game for the first time and play it for the very first time. Oh, I am absolutely dying in this room right now. It is genuinely feeling like I'm sitting in a sauna. I hope my video today just yapping about this is received well enough, because I really want to get to making a lot more fun videos and, you know, having fun with the editing and the whole idea of the video. But I just thought to give my 2 cents on the topic, and, you know, let me know in the comment section down below what you think about everything Nintendo has done with their update initially and how they've seemingly fixed it now, and those 1 or 2 solutions that I've, you know, laid out for you all, and hopefully you've thought about it a little bit, and just let me know what you think. What do you think Nintendo could do, and what they should do, and maybe what they will eventually do with the state of Mario Kart World Online? Because clearly there are a lot of people who are passionate about this, and that is amazing to see. Whether you are a casual player, somewhat of a competitive player, or you are a pro player, whatever you define yourself as in this game, I think it is great to see people are so passionate about a game and they don't want to see it die. They don't want to see it ruined for them and a lot of other people. They want to have their opinion heard, and I think that's great. You know, at the end of the day, it's great that so many people are showing that they love the game on this initial first month and that they really want to keep enjoying it and playing it for years to come. So it's nice to see that people aren't just leaving it high and dry. They are voicing what they feel, and I hope that Nintendo does listen to a lot of the people who are really voicing their just overall thoughts and opinions on the matter. And again, whether you sit on one side of the coin or the other, and, you know, if you're like myself and you just really don't mind and you're just enjoying playing the game and you're just simply trying to get better at the game like I am myself, then hey, all we can do is just sit tight and keep seeing what Nintendo does. I mean, hey, I waited a few days. I had a lot of other stuff in my life going on, and Nintendo reverted it in some way. So I think, you know, from my own perspective, whilst I try and lock in on this final race, is I think Nintendo, yes, they messed up initially, putting in the loophole by mistake, and then they messed up again of how they handled it and reverting it on the complete opposite way and not making it a, you know, fair split between the two. But, talk about locking in, is, yeah, the game is always going to update. We're always going to see things change with this game. It is still so early, so please, to anyone who has such a strong opinion and is worried that the game will go one way than they want, it is always going to evolve. It's not even been a full 30 days. The first day, day 1, was June 5th, and hopefully I can upload this video on June 30th here. It has only been 25 days, okay? There will be a lot of time for Nintendo to go up and down with how you feel and view the game, but I think what we can all sort of sit back on and relax is that we all enjoy the game. We all love the tracks, we all love how the game feels, we love the characters and the outfits. Yes, there are a lot of things that we wish were better with the game, but hey, it's gonna get better. Don't worry. You know, Nintendo will fix their kinks with the game, and then hopefully everyone can get their perfect game and everyone can be happy, as no one likes to see people complaining about the game. We all want to live harmonious here. So, come on, let's see if we can get a decent spot. Yeah, I'll take 4th. Yeah, I think everyone eventually will be happy with the game as a few more updates come out. But yeah, the state of Mario Kart World Online, it was great, then it wasn't so great by a lot of people's standards and how they voice their opinions, and now it is back to somewhat of a, you know, mutual respect level between the player base and Nintendo. So to the entire Mario Kart community here for Mario Kart World, please do leave your opinions in the comment section down below. I would love to see what you think about this game, and especially here with online play, as so much has gone on and there is so much still to come from Nintendo. So yeah, let's wait and see. But with all that being said, and with me nearly passing out in my sauna right now, is I just want to say thank you all so much for watching. And as always, I will see you in my next video. Bye-bye!